Welcome, Aries, to my temple, to the temple of tarot, astrology, and yoga. My name is Ava, and I'm welcoming you in to my temple here on the Big Island of Hawaii. I am broadcasting from my lanai, and it is a beautiful spring day. Sunny, started out very rainy, but it's beautiful now. This is an Astro tarot forecast, relevant to you if your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign is Aries. I follow the transits of Mars and Venus in the astrology segment of this reading, and I use that as the foundation for the tarot reading, which comes after. So I try to keep it simple and still hope that we glean valuable information about what's coming up. Forewarned is forearmed. A friend of mine used to say all the time. This month, in May, we have a change of guard, a change of signs. Mars occupies 2 signs this month, as does Venus. So in the first, relatively speaking, in the first half of the month, we have Mars in Aries. And of course, that's your sign. And so that puts it in the first house. It then moves into Taurus, which is your second house of finance. So self and finance. Self-worth, really, as well. Finance and self-worth is what the second house represents. Venus, the energy, the feminine energy, the more harmonic and beautiful energy, is in Gemini. And that's your third house, busy house of ideas, of travel, local travel, and of being inspired intellectually. It's mercurial, it's a mercurial placement, Mercury. So that's being influenced by the harmonic, loving energy of Venus. So then, in the second half of the month, Venus moves from this third sector to the fourth sector of home. So you might have worn yourself out, and now your home becomes your sanctuary, where you find peace and a feeling of security. So let's examine this play of energy. In the first half of the month, Mars is in your first house. Again, the first house is about yourself, about the ego. And though the ego has been given a very negative portrayal, it is a necessary shield, protective shield between you and any perceived discomfort, or if you're in a situation that's competitive or not welcoming, then the ego can project protection, as well as being a selection of traits that you want other people to associate with you. So it is quite a project, a life project, to create a likable, useful ego projection. And so this month is where you perfect, refine your ego. so that it doesn't become your enemy or create situations that take away from your destiny, your life's worth, your ability to be happy and fulfilled. So this is the work that's going on. Be that privately, somewhere that is you remove yourself and you work on yourself somehow, or it happens as a consequence of what you're doing otherwise. But it's going on, thankfully, because we all need periods of deep introspection to refine the sculpture of the ego. And so, while that's going on, as we say, Venus, the feminine principle, is in the third house, a very busy house, a very open and world-oriented house, where you're sharing ideas, conversations, dialogues, debates. It's beautiful because through that you do refine the self by this anvil. You forge yourself on the anvil of life to the shape that you want. So this is what's going on in the first half of the month. Then in the second half, you turn your attention to your finances, to your material stability. And sometimes there can be a mistaken impression that what you have is who you are. And we measure ourselves by our possessions or our material success. And so there may be a little bit of that going on. But what is generally happening is that you're going to put more attention to managing your financial situation. And you're doing it while Venus is in the fourth, of trying to create a solid foundation, the home. There could be home sales, there could be movement from one home to another. You could be using the equity in your home, or some sort of financial repercussion from real estate, your home, your ancestry, your legacy. This is in the second half of the month. So it does become more conservative. Conservation of your energy, conservation of your resources. That's a beautiful blend here, because Venus is helping you to stay emotionally balanced and solid as you navigate the terrain of your financial situation. So that is how the month will unfold energetically. We're going to use this as a backdrop for the upcoming tarot forecast. So thank you. All my love. Namaste. Welcome, Aries, to your tarot forecast for May 2026. There's a beautiful breeze. Hook the mic, which is underneath this straw hat, with the frame over the hat to support it. So it's very primitive, but hopefully the sound will be clear. So welcome to your tarot forecast. And the cards have been shuffled. They are the Weight Rider deck, and this is a 4-card spread. Each position I will try to correlate to the astrological forecast. So let's begin. In the position of the overall mood or energy of the month. Look at that. We have the Four of Pentacles. And we have Mars in the second house of finance, self-worth. And this represents a firm and solid material foundation. The number 4 is about foundation, square. It's the four corners of the earth. Earth being a firm, unmovable. So it's about creating stability, security, about grounding your financial circumstances, and creating a territory, because the 4s are about territory, about securing your territory. So establishing what you think is yours and having firm boundaries. So often this can lead to a sense of bars, prison walls. So it can be sometimes restricting. It's conserving, being conservative, financially conservative. But balancing with the needs, the practical needs that you have. Venus in the 4th. And it's also about the self as it is serves as an emotional and psychological foundation. So with Mars in the first house of self, you're creating something within yourself that you can rely on. Reliability, self-discipline. Now, keeping what is yours, managing what is yours, be that property, relationships, or even, again, defining what is yours, who you are as a self, your likes, your dislikes, which give you definition. Mars in the 1st. So practical matters that are the overall energy of the month. So you deal with the world as it is, the material reality that you've created. This is Midas, King Midas. It represents wealth, about your resources. Mars in the 2nd, definitely. So that is the highest or the most plasma-like energy, even though this is a Earth card. It's about bringing that plasma energy into a solid foundation. And so I think that this is the wonderful meaning of the overall energy of the month. All right, so let's move on to the position of what will challenge you. And what will challenge you is a major arcana card, the Hermit. Very few cards are as self-evident as the Hermit card is. Everyone knows what a hermit is. Someone who chooses to be alone. But this is in the challenge position. Maybe you're not choosing to be alone. Maybe you're just alone for other reasons that maybe you didn't expect. So sometimes loneliness can be a very deep challenge. Now the Four of Pentacles has suggested that you're building walls around you, either establishing legitimate territorial lines that you only let a select few cross, chosen few cross, or none at all. That's the challenge here, is do you isolate yourself completely in your zeal to create secure boundaries? So that's, I suppose, the trade-off in any border, be it national or neighborhood border, fences between neighbors. You see, because Venus again moves into the third and then into the fourth. So it's could be about setting boundaries too strictly and creating separation, alienation. It could go both ways. Now, it could also represent, because the hermit is wise. He's become wise because he's had to climb that summit he's on, the summit of the mountain that he's on, to reach the heights of insight that he's gleaned from all of his experiences. So it's the owning of your own wisdom, unabashedly, unashamedly saying, yes, well, I can lead because I know better, because I truly do know better. And so it's the assumption of leadership from a position of knowledge, knowing, accepting that you are capable of inspiring others, leading others. So it's taking up that mantle. That might be your challenge this month, Aries. Moving on to the position of the unexpected. We have another major arcana card, so we have two major arcana cards in a row. So it's an important month of transformation. And the Chariot. The Chariot is a warrior. And he is just about to enter the battlefield. He is in deep meditation before the conflict begins. He's riding in a chariot, and the chariot is also symbolic of something, and that something is of focus and direct navigation towards your target, because the chariot only goes in one direction. It can't deviate. So unexpectedly, if you've been waffling or delaying or just living in the fantasy of what you could do or would do or will do, but never do, then you do. You act. This is symbolic of action, absolute. So you act, and you act with tremendous discipline, willpower, and directionality. You know where you're going. And that's interesting because with Venus in the third, there may have been a sort of a wide spectrum of ideas floating between people, between your friends, people you meet in your community, sort of brainstorming or just conversing, getting ideas either incidentally or directly from others, but a multitude of them perhaps, or just too many. But unexpectedly, you get extremely focused and motivated and directional, and you move with rapid speed towards your target. So the rapidity, the rapidness is Martian or Mars-like. And so I think this is concerned with your financial foundations, because we have we have the Four of Pentacles as the overall energy of the month. So this is a card of victory, unexpected, unanticipated victory in a highly competitive field of action. So a lot of vying for the same target, goal, but you being victorious. So this is about competition and about winning. Competition is not unspiritual. That competition can be used to perfect, again, polish your ego. Remember, we have Mars in the house of ego. So it's about this refinement of that ego projection via competition, bettering yourself by seeing others who are better than you, and allowing that, your competitive spirit, to become an aid to refining your own talents and skills. So that is what I believe will be the challenge of the month. Let's move on. What a beautiful breeze. Let's move on to the position of the outcome. And we have Earth. We started with Earth, and we end with Earth. So, yes, Mars in Taurus. Again, Taurus is mid-spring, fixed. It's when you're fixing something, and Venus in the fourth is about building solidity, fixing. So it ends with the fix. What fixes this, and what fixes anything in the month, is, if you look at the card, it's a gentleman seated like a craftsman, like a master craftsman. He is carving his pentacles. Pentacles are symbols of money. We have Mars in the second house of money. He is mesmerized by his work, by how he produces his money, how he produces his resource, his stability, his material stability. He's mesmerized, meaning he's fixated. And the Chariot is also fixated, sudden fixation on a goal, focused on a target, and diligently producing work towards that target, to arrive at that target. So what it's saying is that the month is summarized by hard work, by focus on producing product, service, art, ideas, and literally translating those into something material, something that accumulates, because we started with I had it right here with the Four of Pentacles. You're embracing what you own, what you've created, lovingly holding it and protecting it. And at the end of the month, you just go sort of into this mode of producing, creating rhythmically in a pattern that brings you joy and satisfaction and fulfillment. So that is your forecast for May 2026. Thank you for coming. All my love. Namaste. And like and share.